What's good, everybody? Just sending out a few more texts on here, man. What's good? What's good? What's good? Let me not yell too much on here because I gotta get me a new mic. But what is good, everybody? What is good? I'm supposed to have my boy Akoye on today, but before we had kind of figured everything out, I think this is him right here. I think he just hit me up. Okay, let me see how I'm gonna do this right quick. Hold on one moment, you guys. Yeah, Quay just hit me up. I think he said he's about to send me the link, so hold on. So you guys just kind of bear with me while we do this. So how's everybody doing while I get all this stuff set up and see if Akoye can get in here right quick. Give me 1 second, y'all. Like I said, I'm gonna bring in Akoye. Just hold on with me for one moment. Yes, the Mavs is looking good. Bluff City, they was up 12 before I got on this, but like I said, just be patient because I'm about to bring in Akoye. And then we'll get it in. Hopefully everything goes good right here. Oh yeah, I appreciate you, KMT. We're gonna put that in. I'm off tomorrow, so we'll get that in tomorrow on that link that we're talking right there. He sent a nice one, Dillinger. KMT hooked me up, big dog. He hooked me all the way up. Copy this, and then let me hit up Akoye. See if he comes in here. All right, I just sent Akoye the link. So if he gets this link, he should be coming in here very soon. All right, I just sent him the link. So if Akoye A is coming in here, he should be in here any minute. If that is the case, then we'll run it. And then I got my call line up now. Finally, I was going to test it out. I still probably will test it out while Akoye, if he comes in, we'll talk about that as well. But now I finally got my phone line. That is up now and popping. We finally got that rolling. We finally got together. So really now we're just going to wait and see if Akoye comes in. If he comes in, we'll just go from there. But obviously, we've seen what happened with the Gerald McCoy situation today. Very unfortunate. I'm going to show that injury if you haven't seen it already. Very unfortunate that it happened. Frustrating to say the least. But we'll show this right here. What are your thoughts on this? I said, what do you thought? What are your thoughts on this injury? I'm getting ready to show it right now. It might be coming up. What's your thoughts on this injury right here? What's your thought process on everything that you've seen just happen? Hopefully it's playing. Frustrating injury to say the least. Like I said, it was more of a non-contact injury. If you look at the video, I know it's kind of buffering right now, but if you looked at the video and you seen what happened, it was more of a situation where it looked like Woods put his hand on him, and I think when you look at the bottom of it, he did step on his foot a little bit, looks like. But that still seemed like it was more of a non-contact injury more than anything to me, in my opinion. I think this is just freezing up right quick. Hopefully he gets better. And what's crazy is that I was just talking about this situation. Um, I was just went live yesterday on my Facebook page and was just basically excited about this whole thing with Gerald McCoy and just how everything just kind of happened with it. Just kind of frustrating because, as I said before, he was one of the big signings that the Cowboys. He was one of the major signings that the Cowboys had this season. One of the reasons why I loved him coming in on the team was because of his leadership. He still had his ability. I mean, I think he averaged, like I said, 5 sacks since like 2012, 2013. He was still getting 5 sacks a year. Just a locker room leadership he was going to bring. I think he was going to really be an asset on the field, talking to people, commanding people, just putting people in the right spots, just everything that you want from a leader, and still had the ability to get things done. So just very unfortunate that it happened. Very, frustrating that it did happen because, I mean, this was one of the main guys that I had been wanting. I mean, first of all, I'm a Texas fan, so I've been seeing Gerald McCoy for a very long time, you know what I'm saying, since he was at Oklahoma. And I always liked him. He always had that leadership ability and capability to along to go with the talent. It's hard to find both of those. So that was one of the major reasons why I was really excited about him coming on the team, and I just thought how much of a big asset that he was really going to bring inside that locker room, not just playing. But I think that locker room is really big, and that was one of the issues that was going on last year was locker room. The locker room wasn't stable, and I thought even though you're bringing these other people in, I thought he was going to be one of the people, along with Tyrone Crawford on the defensive side, that were really going to really set the tone. So it's really just frustrating to wait for a guy that I've waited for a long time to finally see him in a Dallas Cowboy uniform and to see how exciting he was, to see just like that it get taken away. It's frustrating. But as I said before, with this COVID thing, um, you've seen a lot of major injuries happen today. I think of like 7 major injuries happened today just on the first day of pads. And I said this was going to happen with COVID because you didn't get the OTAs, you didn't get any rookie camp, you had basically nothing. They just basically hit in training camp with the ground running 3 weeks before you actually go right into a game. No preseason, no nothing. I felt like injuries are going to be a big part of this. Ankle injuries, knee injuries, all those type of injuries were going to play a big part in the season, and it just hurts that this happens. But as we've been saying before, next man up. I wish we had David Irving. I wish we had David Irving. But here's the thing, you guys. All is not lost because we did lose McCoy. All is not lost. I know a lot of people, and I brought up Snacks Harrison. You know, some people were like, I've seen people on Twitter like, Snacks Harrison is a. Um, okay, I think Akoye is getting ready to come in here right now. Give me 1 second. You hear me, big dog? Hold on 1 second. What's up, man? We live. So hold on 1 second, big dog. All right, so here we go. Let me do one last. Okay, okay. I got you. All right, so I'm waiting for Akoye to come in here. What's up? Let me see, make sure everything can hear you on the sound and everything, because I know I had that problem last time. Yeah, you good. Okay. All right, I got Akoye in the building. I'm making sure his mic is working and everything. Hello, hello. For sure, KMT, I got you. Well, like I said, I'm waiting for Akoye. Hopefully this everything works with this audio and everything. If it doesn't, I'm gonna be really mad. But I was while we're waiting for Akoye, and I hope, like I said, hopefully his audio is all good. But there's a guy named Tyrone Crawford that we all been kind of wanting to get rid of. Um,
All right. All right.
yeah,
Here
we're
we go.
good. So can y'all hear Akoye?
Y'all can hear me, right?
Let me know if y'all can hear Akoye right now. I think you can. I think we're good.
Yeah, we should be good.
Let me know if you can hear both of us right now, everybody in the feed.
What did he say?
I'm waiting on him now. I think it is. I think everything's good.
Hey,
Okay,
what you been
cool.
up to, Brody?
Hey man, I've been good. I think we got my dog right now. Akoye just came in from. Would you come in from Mexico, dog?
No, I didn't get to go to Mexico because
Oh,
we had
okay,
a we had a fight that was scheduled in Mexico, and it got canceled because of COVID. So I never even went to Mexico. I
okay,
wound up going to Atlanta. I went to Atlanta, and I've been in North Carolina too. I've been in between Atlanta and North Carolina the last couple of days. My dad hurt his back, so I'm down here messing with him.
okay.
But I've been having fun. When I want to have fun, I go down to the A. It's like a 3 hour drive, so I've been going back and forth. I'm crazy though. I'll do it. But I'm gonna send you some footage when it's over. You're
I
gonna
need
see
I
I'm
need
wild.
that footage. I
Yeah,
need that footage, big
oh,
dog.
trust me, I know you do. I know you do. I know you want to see it.
Yeah, I
I
need that
promise you
footage.
that. I promise you that. I know you want to see that footage, big brother. But yeah,
so
I've been having fun, man.
so man, let's talk. I mean, we already know what's going on. That we had the unfortunate incident with Gerald McCoy today, man.
Yeah, I heard.
Real kind of frustrating. I showed a little bit of the video. Some people saw it as well. Him and
Yeah.
Antoine Woods was doing a little drill. I don't think Antoine hit him that hard. I think he stepped on his foot maybe, but it looked more of a non-contact injury more than anything, in my opinion. But as I was saying, that since these
Antoine
guys,
Woods, that's called job security. That's it. I,
did he trip him up? Did he? Let me step on your foot right quick, just to make sure I'm gonna be playing a little
nah,
bit
I'm only
more.
messing with you, nigga. I don't like making light of people injuries though. Seriously,
Yeah.
uh, prayers go out to Gerald McCoy. I know, at a late stage in your career, that's not the way. We remember what happened with Woody, where you get hurt late, you really, it's hard to recover when you coming back late in your career. So hopefully that bodes well for him, and hopefully the fact that this season is kind of dragging out the way it is, he might get some extra rest time the way the season's going. So hopefully he recovers fast, man. I do pray for him. No, seriously. All jokes aside.
Yeah, for
All jokes
sure.
aside.
And I think the biggest thing that if it's going to be an injury, you rather have it early in the season. So this is, if anything, you'll have a quicker recovery time because you did it early in the season, not like a mid-season injury where it's
Oh no,
going to
he
take even longer.
definitely done for the year. I
Oh
mean
yeah, I'm
that's
saying he's done for the year, but the rehab, since it was
oh
done
yeah,
early in the
yeah.
season, you can have
He'll be
a
fine by off. Yeah, he should
right.
be okay by next off season. But it's just like I said, he's just late in his career, so who knows if he
32.
even wants to deal. He might not even want to deal with it after that. You never know.
Right.
But Richard Sherman is still running around playing
hmm
after that torn Achilles. So players do recover. Dez is still running around after his torn Achilles too. Even though don't nobody want him, y'all treat him like the redhead stepchild over
I
there.
don't know. Baltimore acting like they may want him.
Yeah, they should take his ass. I like Baltimore for him. He got the attitude for Baltimore. That's where he need to be.
I think that would be a perfect fit in that. I mean, that was the team that they were talking about before anything, before, when he left Dallas. So I think that would be a
Thanks.
great fit. So,
Yeah, yeah. There's will be a good locker room addition to that type of environment. The way they culture is over there,
mm-hmm,
it suits him real well. He
mm-hmm,
allowed to be outspoken.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
that's
he
the
can
way it
run,
is.
like let his attitude run like he likes.
Run wild.
But
But our Cowboy fan base ain't the same as the team. You know what I'm saying? The team a little
no,
different.
no,
Yeah.
not at all. So let me ask you. So you had Gerald McCoy that just went down with this injury, and some people talked about brought up Snacks Harrison, because obviously he's a big body, but McCoy plays the three tech and Snacks is more of a one. So now it looks great that we didn't get rid of the Cowboys didn't get rid of Tyrone Crawford. You have Nelville Gallimore. You have a Tristan Hill. Kind of, what's your thoughts? Because in my opinion, I made a post about Tyrone Crawford made his money at the three tech when he got his contract extension. It was at the three tech position. Do you think he slides back in there full time? And who do you think will be his backup at the three tech spot?
Yeah, that's official. You just named it in succession. Unless Tristan Hill comes in and works on, I mean, you never really know who we have that that and how they work in a new regime and a new scheme. So Christian Hill might be better than advertised in a two gap tech or in another scheme. So depending on, and I don't even think at the end of the day we're going to run 4-3. So who knows where these guys are really going to play once things are all said and done? Because I didn't see Tristan as a solid three tech only. I think Tristan is a guy that you can kind of teach to move around because of his
Mm-hmm.
first step.
Mm-hmm.
You could do a lot of the. He's a little bigger though, uh, frame wise than Tyrone, but he has that step like Ty. He's a quicker guy for a big guy. He uses finesse more so than just straight up power. And
Mm-hmm.
Tyrone Crawford's the same way, and Gerald McCoy can do a little bit of everything, right?
Right.
So, but Tyrone is a guy that I think was for a long time was one of our best defensive linemen because you can move him around so many places. It made it so hard for you to replace him because him being on the field, you can kind of spell a bunch of different people just by using him alone. So Tristan and Neville going to fight for it. I don't know who's going to win that spot. That's going to be interesting to watch in camp.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, none of them have to do any drills with Antoine Woods because then they might make it. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Antoine Woods will get some time there too, depending on what we're doing. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what type of scheme we're going to run because you remember Green Bay didn't have too many three tech type of linemen, even in their throw that down lineman in that 3-4 tech. They had Raja, they had BJ Raji, they had Mike. What was his name?
Mike Daniels.
Mike Daniels. They had a bunch of big guys up there. And they had big. Well, Gilbert was a while ago, but they always had in Green Bay. They had like large interior linemen, no matter what. Even when they went out back in the day and got Reggie White,
Mm-hmm.
they liked stout linemen.
Right.
So who knows what type of scheme they're going to run and where they're going to put these guys fully because they're going to be three. I think we're running 3-4. I think we're running 3-4, and even though we don't have footage, I feel like that's what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm willing it to happen too because I want us to run 3-4 because we went out and got Edwards. So I feel like we have more talent as for stand up pass rushers than anything else. So I'm feeling like to get that talent on the field, we probably going to use a 3-4 hybrid scheme. So who knows where these guys are? But Neville Gallimore, I saw him working in the offseason. I think he's a beast. I did a lot of film work on him too. I like his motor, but he's more of a straight line guy. He's not super nimble. He's nimble enough though, but
Mm-hmm.
he uses just brute aggression and athleticism to get through the line. And he an instinctual player, a lot like Tyrone Crawford. You can't look at one move and say, "Oh, this guy's a pure pass rusher," or "He's a run stopper." He's just a hustle man that's gonna get there and do what he got to do. He gonna grind to get there, and he's a hell of a guy to block. It take two to get Neville out the box, so Neville can play one or three. It don't matter. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And Tristan is more of a guy that's, like I said, is more so like Tyrone, where he's more finesse than just brute strength. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know. And then who knows if Tyrone is even the starter at that point. I think he's penciled in right now. But this is not Jason Garrett's team anymore.
Right.
So all these players are auditioning for this season. And I think the best man's man in each position is going to start. I don't think it's going to be, hey, unless it's a guy like a guy who has experience with this same regime. A guy like Aldon Smith, they may be coming in with like a leg up because they know these coaches, but I don't think anybody else is. I think this is an open competition, so to speak, filled with a lot of quality players. So who cares who starts when you have this much talent to circulate in? They're all going to play. So I don't care who's penciled in at this point because I had Gerald McCoy, high up there just from his acumen,
Mm-hmm.
his acumen and his ability to kind of be that general. I just watched him 2 days ago. That was crazy. I was watching him teach Tristan
I
Hill
know that's
a
what hurts
move.
my soul, dog. Because I just saw him teaching Tristan Hill, working with Tristan Hill, and I felt like he was
Yep.
really,
Shout out to Law Nation too. I was watching that on Law, but go ahead. My
yeah.
fault.
No, no, you good. It's just that one of the reasons why I really liked the addition of bringing in a Gerald McCoy was that he was really going to put in work with a Tristan Hill and put his shoulder around this kid and say, hey, let me show you how this is done. I thought he was really going to be good for him, especially with this COVID thing. The guys couldn't really train with each other. This was the
Right.
perfect time for him to really And you saw the video where he was already teaching and talking. And I thought that was one of his biggest assets that he was going to bring is the teaching. Now he could still be a locker room presence, but the on-field presence is going to be a huge thing. That
Hold on
the
one
Cowboys
second.
are going to be missing.
I'm looking for my car keys so I can turn these lights on. There
Hmm
you go.
So,
There you
I
go.
mean, like I said, that's kind of frustrating. But at the end of the day, they have quality depth. And I think that's what really excites me about this. Even though we lost to McCoy, you still have and also you got an Aldon Smith who's out there. Don't you think Aldon Smith can slide in there on some plays inside and
Oh,
play that three tech,
that
especially since he's bigger?
that's exactly, and that's why I said, whether we're running 4-3 or 3-4, we have talent to circulate in. Alden and well, D Law is not a 3 tech guy, but as far as 3-4 defensive end inside, when you want to put another guy on the outside, like if you're trying to create a package where you want to get pass rushers on the field, we have so many unique combinations we can run out there because we got a lot of size and a lot of different unique talent. Like Jalen, I was talking about this yesterday with Vach and them. I said Jalen doesn't necessarily have to stay inside full time. You can rotate him because if you wanted to put Jalen on the outside, I wouldn't think it was out the question to push and keep Law on the D Law on the field at the same time. D Law can play 3-4 defensive end, no problem.
Hmm
At the end of the day, I wouldn't put him there full time.
hmm
That wouldn't be his starting position. But you'll see. I think we'll see packages where his hand on the ground, and other guys standing up outside of him, whether it's Edwards or Aldon Smith, even. And Aldon Smith, same thing. He's 280 pounds, and I think he's in the best shape. Believe it or not the best shape he can be in for a guy who's been outside of football. I mean, the best shape of his life. Why? We were enthralled by Aldon Smith, and not to change the subject at all, but we
No,
were
talk about it.
enthralled by him when he was an alcoholic, when he was
Hmm
drinking and he was struggling with substance abuse. And it's not no jokes, puns intended at all. Shout out to anybody who's struggling with anything they hooked on. I pray for you. But when he was inebriated and drunk all the time, we still loved him, right?
hmm
He was 15 sack Alden at that time. So what do you think he's about to be? Sober and in the best shape he's ever been in. We may have gotten an opportunity to have the best version of Aldon Smith yet, depending. Some people just, you ever seen that saying where they say, hey, it'd be like, I liked you better when you were drunk. People say that. they might have to come out with it like shout out to Law and them too, because I was watching how Jeff Kavanaugh was talking about how main man came at my man on Twitter. I'm not gonna bring it back up because I was about to stump a mud hole in him. But I'm gonna tell you,
You and me
main
both.
man came at Law and came and stole a 40 burger shirt. They might have to steal this shirt. He might be a joint that say, "I liked you better when you were drunk." If Alden drops a dud this year, that might be a T-shirt. But at the end of the day, right now, I think honestly, Aldon Smith, we're going to get the best version of Aldon Smith we've ever seen because he's in the best shape of his life. So moving him inside, outside, his size and his versatility, it's so many things you can do out there. Same thing with Jadeveon Clowney. He's that type of guy. We don't have him obviously, but he's that type of guy where put him anywhere, he gonna shine. That's what he gonna do.
Yeah,
So yeah, I like Aldon.
yeah, I love that addition. My homeboy was training him, Brandon Tucker, and the
Mm,
first thing he said when he had him he said he had him the first week. He said, "Man," he said it looked like he ain't never been away from the game. He said he looked like a physical freak still, even with the added weight. And he said one of the things that really impressed him about Alden was his football IQ. He said he has a
mm,
very high football IQ, and he didn't have to
mm,
tell him too many things. He was already hitting the ground running. He was already a step ahead of everything he was saying. So that right there got me excited because Brandon trains like everybody. You know what I'm saying? So that
yeah,
got me excited to say, okay, I think, like you said, we're going to get a great version of Alden because now your mind, body, and soul is all clear. And
you plugged in.
when you're clear and you're dialed in, you can get a better version. And I know people are like, oh, he's been away from the game 3 or 4 years. I understand that, but the ability don't go away.
Well, yeah, ability, and then they factor that in. People say that as if I don't understand. Like they do the same thing with boxers. I'm 37, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know a bunch of fighters that I train. I'm not gonna name no names, but they can't beat me. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm a fat dude that's already quit boxing, like, and I'll whoop your ass. So I don't know why this misnomer is out there that once you get above 30, somehow you're old, or he's not above 30, but I'm just saying once you step away, once you reach they have that misnomer that says that. But same thing when it comes to ring rust or being out of the ring. I look at it the opposite. Age creates wisdom, and time off creates fresh legs. He's on fresh legs. He hasn't been getting hit for the last 3-4 years. Like he's not hurt. He hasn't been intoxicated. He hasn't been traveling. He hasn't been stressed out by the game. He's coming with a fresh mind, fresh legs, fresh body, and the same football IQ. And it's obvious that he had a high football IQ because when you watch his film and watch the way they used him in San Francisco, it wasn't even fair. Some of the stuff they had him doing, it wasn't even three. That wasn't even a 3-4. It was just like, you take the flats to 15 yards deep on your side of the field. That's all you, Aldon. And if you don't see anything, if they're not running your side, there's no actions, no misdirections coming your side, and there's no coverage responsibility, you decide when you go after the quarterback. And he was killing it over there doing that. That was something to see. So, again, um, I don't know what we're going to see in Aldon Smith, but I don't think it's going to be anything less than great.
I totally agree, and that's why I'm geeked and excited because I think that was a great signing. And then here's the thing: you got a Mike McCarthy, you brought in a Tom Sula, you got a Aldon Smith, you brought a Mike McCarthy, you got a George Edwards, and guess what? And we're going to talk about this guy right now. And you just got your boy from the Vikings. What his name? Just
Mm-hmm.
his name?
Edwards.
Not Edwards. What was it? Oh, it just name his name just went through. Everson Griffen.
Everson Griffen.
Yes.
Edwards is the coach.
Yeah, Edwards is the coach, Everson
My
Griffen.
bad. My bad.
So
Yeah,
you don't have an
I
Edwards,
kept
you
calling him
probably don't
Edwards.
have an Everson Griffen. What's your thoughts on Everson Griffen? Do you see him being the starting right defensive end?
I see him, yeah, being a starting right outside linebacker, but I think he can play both sides. I'm going to manifest 3-4, so I'm not going to speak this defensive end into existence. But yeah, I think he's going to be a stand-up outside linebacker for us, honestly.
Everson
Uh,
Griffen?
yeah, I think we're playing 3-4. He's
You
going to
think
be
we're
a
gonna
pass
play
rusher.
3-4 solely?
I think so. I
Really?
do. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to look up on that because I mean, you got a Don Poe that you can stick in as the one tech, right? So
Yeah.
who would be your two outside ends? Would it be D Law and
That it gives exactly. It could be any of them. Like you could, it gives you more flexibility to use that defensive scheme with these guys that we have here. Because you have some guys that might just be better as two gappers. Like they weren't asked to play any two gap responsibility that often
Mhm.
in this scheme, unless it was to set up some sort of stunt that we were running. You weren't really two gapping. The only person that was two gapping on a regular basis was Woods on the field. Everyone else was getting upfield. That's why we were drafting guys that could just get off the ball and get upfield because that was the philosophy. Because in order to run those stunts, it was like high speed chess we were playing.
Mhm.
Now it's more so, it's you have different things that might come out in this scheme because you have Tristan Hill who does have good get off, but we don't know how well he does. He two gaps. We don't know how well. Well, I know how well Neville Gallimore does. But at the end of the day, you could put any two guys on the outside of those guys, Crawford and Tristan. You can get Crawford and Tristan and Dontari Poe on the field at the same time. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like that creates so they suck up so much space and so much attention in the middle of that field. You cannot double team anything on the outside when you do that. So that's why I keep screaming 3-4. It's not like I'm thinking like Madden, like I'm a 3-4 fan.
Mhm.
I don't care about 3-4 or 4-3. It's whatever suits the personnel, not what I want or what a coach wants. What we have on our team right now, if you're trying to create a situation where you don't have to constantly change packages and so on, if you bring your three most solid interior linemen, your two best three techs, and your best one tech, which is Dontari Poe, and then I think Woods will probably back him up. That would be your 3-4 nose tackle starters or rotation. And then outside of that, you have Crawford who can play either side defensive end. You have Aldon Smith who can play either side, hand down to the defensive end. You have Tristan. You have Neville Gallimore. You can keep going down the list. We had Gerald McCoy before that, so and then you have D Law, who you can rotate in, like you just said, and then you have Edwards, who's I think mainly an outside guy, and D Law can go either or. But because of how tenacious he is, like when D Law crashes the B gap, he's going against guards all day anyway, except for
Mm-hmm.
when we were running those stunts, he was doing it with a little steam ahead. But they call him the tank for a reason. It doesn't matter if you say, "Hey, I want you to edge in. I want you to play your head up with that right tackle or inside shoulder on him," because that's his gap anyway. He always wants to crash the B anyway, so he don't give a damn. So
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, I don't think it matters whether or not he's standing up. Those who say they don't like him standing up, the 3-4 gives him flexibility where a quarterback or a coach, an opposing coach, can't pin in or can't hone in on what we're doing. If you see D Law right now in our scheme, and he's on the right side, he's right in your face. He's probably coming if it's 4-3. The
Mm-hmm.
3-4, you don't know if he's coming, you don't know if Aldon's coming. You don't know if he's stepping back, you don't know who's doing what, depending on what you're doing and depending on our tendencies or whatever. And then he may be out here standing up, and then the next play he's left side hand down. Like it gives him that type of flexibility where we can move guys around, and I like that. I like that. So I feel like that's how we would rotate it if we did it. It's not like I don't think it would be a difficult um, idea to pull off.
Yeah, well, I just was listening to Mike McCarthy today, and he was bringing up the reference of Julius Peppers, and he was talking
Mm-hmm.
about how he got Peppers later in his career. He was kind of one way from Marinelli. He came over to Green Bay, and he said how Julius Peppers really loved the idea to be able to stand up because now he's able to be able to see things a little bit better. When you got that hand in the ground, you're just coming straight after that quarterback or setting the edge, things of that nature.
Yeah,
But when you can
you can
stand
assess
up,
plays.
exactly. But now when you stand up, now you can be able to, like you said, you can send a blitzer and he can drop back in coverage sometimes.
You you
Or
you know why? Go ahead.
no,
What
no,
you got
go
to
ahead
say?
and finish.
You know why we thought, and trust me, he was what he was. DeMarcus Ware was great, but do you know why we thought DeMarcus Ware was great? You know why? In
Tell me.
my opinion, what? Not it wasn't just his pure pass rushing ability. The reason we come at and we hold Tank to such a high standard is because he's coming behind a guy like DeMarcus Ware. But it's not an apples to apples comparison because Tank is asked to, like you said, put your hand down, go straight after the quarterback, stop the run on the way. That's what he was asked to do. DeMarcus Ware was not asked to do that. He was asked to pass rush, yes, but also assess what's going on. Those plays, like when he intercepted Michael Vick for right in his face. He got a couple interceptions for touchdowns, sack, fumbles, so on. As far as like the way DeMarcus Ware was able to instinctively take over games, it's a lot easier to do that. Same thing with Javon Curse as well. Dudes like that, where when you're able to, even though I think he's probably better hand down, but when you got a guy, when he got over to the Eagles, he was giving us fits because they were moving him around, allowing him to just be that hybrid that Julius Peppers was in both Carolina and more so in Green Bay. When
Mm-hmm.
you have guys that are like that, we have multiple guys that are like that. Aldon Smith and D Law can stand up and do what they do. They don't need no help. When you watch Azur Kamara, who we did cut, but when you watch his game for his the breakdown that I did on him, and I'm not plugging it to give views. I'm telling you, just watch it if you want. If you want to understand what I'm talking about.
Right.
He shuts down that portion of the field. I mean, from 15 yards off the ball to his side. So if you're thinking right side or left side, depending on what side you're on, but left side, outside linebacker where D Law would be, Azur Kamara, if you watch his film, he was asked in Kansas to shut down that side of the field as far as the run is concerned, stop the running along the way, and then also get under passes that are in that hot zone or his hot route or his hot zone, 15 yards off the ball to the right of the quarterback, right front side of the play, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was doing it. We got two guys that can do that both sides of the ball because that's what Aldon Smith was doing. If you watch Aldon Smith, they used to bring slot receivers out and thinking that the 49ers were going to get out of their base coverage or the base formation. Aldon Smith would go and press the guy. He'll go as far out to press a receiver. He was playing the Colts one time. The Colts. They would run the ball at him. He destroying anything out there that's trying to come out and block him. That's it. And then, or they would have a wide receiver that they would run out there to try to spread him out a little bit. he would press the hell out of him. Like, he would yoke him to the ground or press him and then go ahead and get in the backfield anyway. So he was so disruptive over there. It's like, don't even bother paying attention to that. We're not going to pick with him. We're not going to play with him because he's not in coverage. He doesn't need to be in coverage. Just be disruptive. He doesn't. I'm not saying D-Law has quick enough twitches in his hips to chase tight ends. And no, that's not what's. But when you think 3-4, that's what you're thinking. When really that responsibility goes to your middle linebackers and your safety in a 3-4 scheme. Whereas tight ends, usually, if they're dealing with those outside linebackers, they're chipping them. And that outside linebacker's job is to hold that man up long enough to throw off or reroute him so that those linebackers can get underneath him or pick him up in coverage, or that safety can get where he needs to be. And I think that's how we're going to play it. The same way you saw Charles Woodson used in Green Bay, where you bring a safety or a nickel corner that's going to be responsible for that slot or those tight ends or sometimes even the running back coming out of the backfield. And you let your defensive ends help out in short area coverage and blitz and work their way to the quarterback on their way doing that. So that's what I think you're going to see. It's not. I don't think it's a detriment to us having him stand up. And I agree with Mike McCarthy that nuance to it. It just makes us a little bit more unpredictable because you really don't know what he's going to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say, I know what this guy is doing play in, play out. You can't say that about anybody other than our nose tackle. That's it. You don't know what nobody else is doing. Nobody. And then Jalen, I keep screaming, is Jalen for everything that I like about Jalen. I know y'all deal with a lot of these players. Y'all meet them and stuff like that. Now, shout out to y'all for that. And I'm saying this, and it's no disrespect to Jalen when I say this. We have not seen anywhere near the best football from Jalen Smith at all. Jalen's best position is not middle linebacker. I'm sorry. It's not. It's not. It's really not. If you watch Jalen and you watch him coming downhill versus everything else he does, he's great in coverage. Don't get me wrong. He's great at he's a pretty good tackler. He's aggressive. He's not a bad middle linebacker, but he's a great outside linebacker. He's a good middle linebacker. He's a great outside linebacker because we haven't used any of his pass rushing ability, and you guys still like him. You still like him. We barely blitzed him at all. He was in coverage most of last year, playing 9 yards off the ball. Why would you have a guy who pass rushes better than anybody else on the team? Just about. I watched him go through a double team in a Texans game 2 years ago. He went through a double team simultaneously.
Hold up, big dog. I got a call. We got the phone line. Hold up.
Go ahead.
Call from
Eastside.
To accept.
I think we got Eastside Harold on the line. Is this Eastside Harold?
Eastside Harold. You know what I'm talking about then, don't you, Eastside? Because he a Texans fan. I know who you are. Listen, remember that What's up?
Yeah,
is he there?
Yeah, we can hear you.
You remember that game, Eastside?
Man, I so feel bad for Gerald McCoy, man.
I don't think he can hear you. Hold on.
His voice low.
I don't think he can hear you because this is the way this thing. I'll let you know what he's got to say. Hold on, Akoye. Tell me what you got to say.
Let him talk his talk.
Yeah, man, for Gerald McCoy, man. I wanted to see him, and I really wanted to see him. He spoke up on the little social issues, man, and kind of feel sorry for the man. I mean, I'm not a big Dallas fan, but
yeah, you are. You're a down low fan.
Yeah, he watched more Cowboy content.
Hey, Eastside, you down low, bro. You know Eastside, you a down low fan, man. Tell me, I know you feel bad about Gerald McCoy, but tell me why you called, man. Did you just call to gloat?
Nah, bro. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I'm a shit talker. I don't go about injuries. I mean, that sucks for that man. He put in some work, but now y'all got a second rounder, Christian Hill, and hey man, you gotta see what he got, and good luck with that.
Yeah, I don't know why you laughing like he doesn't have talent. You got Neville Gallimore. We got players, Eastside. I mean, you need to worry about your squad over there, bro. Like, you keep talking all this trash about your Houston Texans, bro, ain't in great shape. I don't know why you hyping them up like they are. Just cut the lies, man. Come on, what, man? What you got over there? You lost a lot, man.
Yeah, that's how
Brother, we got
expansion teams
Deshaun
are, man.
Watson.
You gotta let
That's
them have it.
all you need in the
Had
NFL.
they wins. It's about the little things, man. Small
When you
victories mean
got
a
the
lot
guy,
to some people.
you
You know
got
what I
the
mean?
guy.
You gotta
Mhm.
let him have it, man. Let
But
him have those
I don't
victories,
think
man.
you know about
Don't
that.
take
But
his ball. He might take his
hey,
ball,
man,
go
it's a
home.
little
East
different
side,
story
man.
down South
East side.
45.
Come
But
over
hey,
to the
man, I'm
dark
just
side,
saying,
bro.
man.
That's all you gotta do. You
I
Hey,
hope
understand? We know who the real team is
McCoy.
that you like,
I
because
hope that's not the end
you
of his
know more
career.
about
But
us than we know about
good
you,
luck to
man.
the brother.
About the Texans
yeah.
anyway.
Well, we'll see, East High. I got another call. I got another call in. I'll let you. You said you wanted to call in. We're gonna me and you gonna get it in when I got a solo show, and I'm gonna let you because I'm gonna get at you really really good, and I'm gonna break you down
Oh,
really really good.
East side.
But I'm gonna
sure,
let my
sir.
next call get in. But I appreciate you, dog.
All right, that's a bit.
All right.
I can hear him a little bit.
All right, so that was Mr. Eastside Harold. I told
Yeah,
he
I
ain't.
know who he is.
Yeah,
He
you
always
already.
talking
He
shit.
always talking about he ain't no Cowboys fan, and you down low, always in our feeds and
Oh,
all
he
that.
a Cowboy
You
fan.
a Cowboys fan. So I got another call right quick. Hold on, Akoye, okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Call from. To accept, press 1. To send a voice.
Silver and Blue Nation, Big Game James. What question you got today?
What's up, Big Gang Gang?
What's going on? Is this Jessica?
Yes.
Hey, how you doing, Mama? How you doing? It's good to see you. Good to hear from you. What you? I got a lot of people talking. I got my dog Quay. What's on your mind, right quick?
What's on my mind is I don't want nobody to lose the faith of nothing. We know that hiccups happen every training camp. Come on, guys. Pull it together. All these negative comments in there, you got to pray and you got to keep the faith. The boys going to be all right. We have so much talent on both sides of the ball and field. So we don't have no reason to get down about this. I'm praying for him. My heart goes out to him that he get a speedy recovery, that God give him a miracle like he did for Jalen. That was my prayer. But I just want us fans to stop being down about this. We
Mm-hmm.
have too much talent for that.
Mm-hmm.
No need
Oh
to
yeah,
be
I'm not.
down. No need to be worrying. It's going to be okay, guys. Hang in there. Let's go.
There it is.
Next man up, man.
Next
Next man
man
up.
up. Hey, I appreciate you, and once again, happy birthday. Love you for life. Hey, let me
Happy
get some. I'm
birthday,
gonna get.
Cliff.
I have some more people call in. Give me about 5 minutes. I want to talk to Akoye about something, and then we'll start the call line in another 5 minutes. But I
Perfect.
wanted to ask you something real quick, Akoye, because you were mentioning Jalen Smith, and they were talking about the switch from the from the Mike linebacker to a strong side, or they're going to move him around. Yes, I totally agree with you. I think we talked last year when we did a video how we were talking about how he needs to move away from that position, send
Watch
him in there.
the
Remember when we
film,
did that
bro.
video and we had
Yeah.
already talked about how we need to move him around and move him out from that mic and give him less
Jalen is
responsibility.
unblockable. At the
Yes.
mic, he got too much responsibility. You put him outside, he can kind of decide what he wants to do. If he wants to cover somebody out the backfield, let him. He could do it. He want to cover a wide receiver in the slot. He's done that already, so he could do it if you want him to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that we haven't used even not even 20% of his career, we haven't used any of his pass rushing ability. If you were going to look at him as far as his capabilities, I would say his best attribute to me is his block shedding and his pass rushing ability. You
Yes.
cannot block this dude coming downhill. You cannot block him coming downhill. Like I was just saying, I thought Eastside was calling because of that, because he's a Texans fan,
Mm-hmm.
and I was saying when he called, I was talking about that game when we played against the Texans 2 years ago. We lost at the end of the game, but watch Jalen in that game, not the sideline to sideline run where he stopped the touchdown. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not talking about that. I'm talking about where he caused the interception. All you got to do to watch it, go and watch Xavier Woods' interception versus the Texans. Watch what Jalen did up front. He went through a double team simultaneously with the same swim move that D Law was doing right next to him. They did the same exact move, except for D Law did it on a single a one-on-one block. Jalen did it to two people, and they both got to the quarterback at the same exact time. I said, how do you get through two guys like at the same rate of speed.
He's an animal when he sees it. He's an animal. He's like a torpedo.
Exactly. And if you got him firing off watch the sack that he got against Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay last year too. It was like he ran in like a U.
Yes.
It's just like he's a sick dude coming downhill after the quarterback. And if I was a quarterback, that would be what I would be worried about all day. If you got D-Law, Aldon Smith, Jalen, and Everson, Griffen to choose from when a play starts, you don't know which one of them are coming or if all of them are coming. Pray. God bless you, brother. Good night. That's it. It's over. So I just can't wait to see that. I hope they're smart enough to use him that way, because I don't see why we weren't doing it before when that's his best attribute. And he's made a lot of plays, great plays, even in the Chicago game where he got ridiculed because of the touchdown he gave up. Before he gave up that touchdown and all the picked on that he was getting, he was being asked to cover wide receivers, play in, play out, and he made a lot of plays in coverage. He's done it on numerous occasions. But for him to be that good in coverage and that's not even his best attribute, that shows how out of position he is, I think, in my opinion, at the middle linebacker. He's, even if you're in the 4-3, it doesn't matter. He's like Shaq Thomas from Carolina. He's one of those types of guys. We're trying to turn him into a Luke Kuechly. Luke Kuechly is not a pass rusher, though.
Right.
He's a guy that can stop the run and play coverage. He wasn't a pass rusher.
And that's what LVE is.
Right. That's what a middle linebacker, that's what you would ask a middle linebacker to do. Sometimes you might blitz him just as some nuanced type stuff. He's stunting his way to the quarterback, and the guys up front are even Ray Lewis wasn't a pass rusher.
No.
He's a guy who could he could fill his gaps.
Mm-hmm.
LeVar Arrington wasn't really a pass rusher. He could pass rush, but he was filling gaps. Jalen is a pass rusher.
Right.
He can pass rush. He has moves on top of moves. You can't block him.
Mm-hmm.
You can't block him. And then if you do try, if he gets a full steam ahead,
he's gonna blow you up.
Guards and blow
he's
guards
gonna,
up.
He's gonna blow you up.
And put a fullback or a running back after him. You just playing with yourself after that. Stop. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
I totally agree. Like I said, when they said they were moving him out of that position, I got excited because just the things that you just said. When you got the middle linebacker, you got the Mike coverage and be able to stop that run, and that's what LVE does. You got a guy that you can move around and be and just. And don't, like you said, don't put Jalen in a little pinhole and say, this is just what you're going to do. Move him around and use his abilities. He's got a lot more abilities than we were showing him the last few years with Dallas. Yes. Now we feel like we have somebody who's going to open the door.
We're disguising
yes,
now too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
make them beat you.
Now, talking about this. Hey, talk about this, dog, because we're talking about disguising. Now, a lot of people been down on Cheeto, saying, "Oh, Cheetos, this is what he is," or Xavier Woods. I've been frustrated with Xavier Woods, but hold up. I know, but hold up. He came out, and I mean, first of all, we had already had the bomb interview with George Akoye, who basically exposed all this, talking about how they shout out to George Akoye because he broke everything.
Yeah, I was glad when he said that. Like, man, don't act like I told you.
We had all been kind of talking about this thing, and then for him to expose it, because ain't nobody they'll listen to us, but only so much. And then NFL player comes out and says the same thing we saying. Now it's like,
so I ain't been saying that for 2 years.
You feel me? You feel me, big dog?
News to you?
You feel me, big dog? But okay, we'll take that. But at the end of the day, George Akoye exposed this. And Cheeto was already talking about this last year with his trainer, saying that how Chris Richard wouldn't let him do certain things. So he was going to his trainer specifically and saying, hey, give me some different techniques to use, because I'm trying to use this against Amari and I'm not allowed to do this. So I need some techniques to be able to counteract it. He's the cornerbacks coach is like, hold up, man. How are you able to stop anybody on the field, and you're not able to do this type of technique? You're only allowed to do one thing, because so many times it was almost like the guys were not allowed to touch the receivers coming off the line of scrimmage. They were getting a free reign. It was frustrating. So do you think that this is going to show a better Cheeto, a better Xavier with this new, or are they the same guy and you think we're going to move on?
What I heard, oh no, man.
Talk to me.
Well, where do you start? Chris Richard Now I'm not a hypocrite, right? So I'll start by saying this. When he got here, I wanted Chris Richard to be the whatever kind of coach, defensive coordinator, whatever. I liked him a lot because I thought he was the fire that was missing out of these guys. For everything that he didn't. I don't think he brought fire. You know how you got, and I was wrong. I was wrong about him. Basically, what I'm saying. But now that once I figured out I was wrong, I'm now going to criticize Chris Richard. Now, you know how you got parents or some people who overcoach. You got some coaches that scream at players and players want to fire up for them, like a Parcells. And then you got other guys who scream at players and players play like they don't want to fail because they don't want to get out.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what I observed. And I know you guys remember. We had a guy, shout out to him, I liked him a lot, who had promise. Kayvon Frazier, remember him?
Yes.
Kayvon Frazier came in the Lions game and played cover 2. He was playing cover 2. He flattened out early, and he gave up a touchdown. I think that was the last time I saw Kayvon on the field for a while that year. I don't remember seeing him again in the defensive rotation that year, last year. Or he got hurt that game too, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But cover 2 got him out of here, right? And you see Jordan Lewis. Jordan Lewis, we called the man Velcro. I did a couple breakdowns on him when he came out as a rookie. He was our best cover corner for the longest. He got beat in that Green Bay game after they went at him twice with Adams. He never played outside again, I don't think. They brought him in, even though that year he didn't have Richard that year.
Mm-hmm.
But Richard came in and said, I like big guys. And he said, sometimes you got exceptions to that rule. And keep in mind, he likes nothing but safeties and corners that are 6'1 plus. When Chris Richard was a corner, that was only like 5'10.
Right.
So it doesn't even make sense for you to hate on small corners when you were one. But
especially when they're a playmaker and you know it.
And you were one. So he put Jordan on the bench on ice. He came in the first year, I think he came in that Saints game, locked down Alvin Kamara with the way we used him.
Mm-hmm.
But then we stopped doing shit like that. We stopped moving him around and using them in unique ways. It would be like just 1 week we would come out and play the best defense I've ever seen.
And then we would go back, and then the next week, that's what I just wanted to ask you that.
That made no sense.
It was like what was going right. It was like what was going on in that room when the defense would play lights out 1 week and then they would totally regress the next week, and it's like what the hell
It was scheme regression because he had a vanilla scheme, and the only time we played well was when he switched it up. When you looked at Cheeto. When you watch Cheeto's college film, don't get me wrong, Cheeto can lock down on the outside. He can. He's capable. It's the same way Jalen can play middle linebacker. He can. But when you watch Cheeto making his best plays, it was never outside in college. And when you watch his college film, he was making plays in the slot and in the backfield. Cheeto plays like Charles Woodson for real. He blitzes the quarterback. He uses his instincts. When you tell him, hey, you're over here and your only instinct or your only responsibility is that quarter of the field or that man, that's taking most of his game away because Cheeto is a cerebral player. He's a guy, the reason they had him off the ball over there was not because we wanted to give up free releases. It's because Cheeto was one of our best tacklers on the team and he needed to be off the ball so he doesn't get washed out by blockers early on in the play when they run front side. So they will back him up so that he can, see everything and sort of like play like a safety on that quarter of the field because they know that that's his gift. But instead of giving up hot reads underneath the guy, move him inside and let him rush the quarterback or play coverage if he wants to or whatever. You know what I mean? He's like an additional safety out there if you put him inside. And honestly, Jordan can play inside or outside. I don't have a problem with Jordan playing outside.
Jordan can play outside, but you know the reason why they put him in there because of that side. Jordan Lewis is an outside corner, in my opinion, not a slot corner, but he gets pigeonholed in that slot because of his side. He's a shutdown outside corner, and if he was that 6'1" prerequisite that they all love, he'd be one of the top. He'd be the top one. I'm just saying. Right? But they're not giving him a chance though, Akoye. That's the only reason why I'm saying.
6 foot. I know what you're saying.
Antoine Winfield Jr.
Antoine Winfield, period. The senior.
That's what I'm saying. Senior.
Yeah.
Was a monster.
5'9".
So, and he was an outside corner his whole career.
Yeah,
So
100%.
so we can't so
There's
we
no
can't
rule that
yeah.
says little dudes can ball. Look, even though Bob Sanders was a safety, like if you're short doesn't mean you can't play ball, man. That's not what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if he's if you're not going to jump ball every play, I wouldn't put him outside in the red zone.
Right.
I wouldn't put him outside in press coverage situations where it's like
When you
short
got a
yardage
Jimmy
and
Graham
when you
against
or if
Jordan
you got him
Lewis.
against DK Metcalf, I wouldn't say, hey, go get DJ Metcalf. Like, I wouldn't do that to him. I would say, hey, you take the guys out that are like, what's the Doug Baldwin type dudes. You take the little scat receivers out, and if they go inside, sometimes you're gonna follow them inside. You know, when you playing the Sean Jackson type guys, you're gonna follow him inside sometimes, but you follow those types of guys around. He can play those taller receivers, but we have enough corners to rotate, tall corners anyway, to rotate in there where he's not going to be asked. He don't have to do that unless you play on a team that got nothing but long guys. And if that's the case, you ain't got to run too fast, so because they ain't too fast. Those big dudes ain't as hard to they ain't in and out of their breaks the same way, except for dudes like Devontae Adams and so on. But the Floyds of the world. Those dudes ain't in and out of their breaks like that. Like, DJ Metcalf, even he fast straight line, but he's not like, he's not in and out of his breaks like Flash Gordon. Flash Gordon is just a freak of nature.
Mm-hmm.
And even still, I think Jordan is built for that, man. He built for all that. So again, he had no problem lining up against Dez in practice either. He's going up against Dez all the time. Dez was a bigger guy. And he, even though Dez kind of jammed only once, it was like still he didn't look like he was out of his league. I don't even believe in that. I think he can ball. Chris Harris is only 5'10", man. Even though he plays nothing but nickel, I think that's what they were trying to do with Jordan Lewis. They were trying to make him and Chris Harris type. But I like Cheeto again and Jordan chances in this scheme because you can't just line your corners up and say play ball and we're not going to help you. We're not going to hide anything. That I don't understand. You had a coach who thought that he was going to get a head coaching position, so he was playing not to lose. He was coaching not to lose.
All
That's
of them
bend but
were.
don't break. And but the players play like the coach. The coach was coaching not to lose, and the players were playing not to lose. They weren't doing enough. They weren't taking any risks as far as disguising things to create opportunities for these corners. That's where you get turnovers from when the quarterback thinks he sees something that he wants and then he's not there. Not, hey, you know what we're doing. It's not remember the Titans.
I mean, I totally agree. I think, like I said, we all saw it with the non-disguising, and just like I was listening to Mike Nolan when he first got hired on, he said, and this is just the truth. You deal with any kind of veteran quarterback, and you give him the same look all the time, he's going to get wise to it, and they're just going to chip you guys apart. And that's what these quarterbacks are doing. When we were making Mitch Trubisky, you're making a quarterback from the
We
Detroit
made Mitch
Lions.
Trubisky look like they knew why they gave him money.
Dog, I mean,
That dude number 2, I don't know who he was for the Lions,
I don't even
but
know either, bro. But he was just chucking it up in the air
kicking
because,
our ass.
I mean, because you sit there and how many times do we see the same old tired ass blitz where they blitz right up the middle? They don't even disguise the damn blitz.
They ran one play where they had Antoine Woods stunt out of the middle of the field, and he was playing one tech. He stunted. He took his man all the way out to the left, right? They were trying to stunt D-Law inside, but they ran a draw play before any of that could happen. So D-Law was out of it. He couldn't get to the gap fast enough. And Woods, before he even knew what the play was asked. You could tell he was asked to do it because he didn't even attempt to find the ball. He just ran out of the gap. So when he did that, it was because they were planning for a pass play there, and they did a draw play. When they did that, I swear, it's in my footage. I swear it was like the Red Sea parted. There was nothing there other than Jalen killed the running back on this play. He came down and destroyed him, but it was only because Jalen had to run 9 yards to make a stop for no gain. 9 yards. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He had to run 9 yards from 9 yards off the ball to stop the ball at the line of scrimmage. He should have never had to travel that far to stop that play, and he shouldn't even had to stop that play because there should have been someone in the middle of the field to man that position, right?
Right.
The way we were playing ball and the way they were scheming, it just between Marinelli, who I like as far as his ability to coach pass rushers. I don't have nothing to say disrespectful about Marinelli, but I think the combination of him and Richard, I think, was worse than just him or Richard alone. I think the combination of those two, it was too many people trying to fight for who's going to be the next coach. Not Marinelli. I don't think Marinelli wanted the head coaching position, but I think Chris Richard was probably trying to make sure his unit did good enough and maintain that he was playing a numbers game. Because you notice we were ranked pretty high defensively, but you just never saw it on the field. Like, why are we ranked so high defensively? Because it's all about yards for him. He's playing a scheme to make sure you keep everything underneath so nobody really blows the lid off. You don't give up any big plays. And he just hoped that the law of averages helps you. You know, if we can keep the ball in front of us long enough, eventually a quarterback's going to throw a pop-up ball, or you're going to slap some balls out. We're going to strip. We're going to get ourselves some fumble. That's how we were playing, and that's what we were getting. All of the turnovers that we get came from those averages where, you know, the law of averages prevailed. It wasn't like, damn, did you see how we set him up for that play? Or did you see how he was in his – or how, no, it was none of that. It was just he fumbled because Jalen hit him real hard. Or, hey, he got an interception because they threw the ball at him this time. You know what I'm saying? Or it was a bad pass. Or it was a pop-up ball. Stuff like that. We weren't getting like, damn, you seen that play? We didn't have too many of those oohs and ahs type plays when it comes to turnovers. But we have a bunch of ooh and ah players.
Right.
We really do.
Yeah,
we have them.
We got
talent.
we got the talent. It ain't never been a question on talent. It's always been the coaching, in my opinion. We've had talent for a very long time. It just seems like it hasn't been used properly. And because when you don't use your talent properly, you underachieve and you're underwhelmed. And that's what just been the problem with the Cowboys this whole time.
Yeah, man.
Now,
it's frustrating, man.
I got if you guys want to call in, you see the call-in line, 614-349-6221. You can call in, ask me and Akoye a question. He may not hear you just because the way it is.
I just had to get real quiet. I can hear you.
Yeah, he can hear you, but you may not be able to hear him when he responds. So if you do want to call in, give me about call in about a minute, question, comment, anything like that, and then we'll jump off and answer your question, and the next person will come in if you choose to. But you see the number right there, 614-349-6221, if you want to call in and ask myself or Akoye a question on the Dallas Cowboys. But while we're talking about that right now, let's switch to the offense because we've been heavy on defense. Let me just give one last question on the defense. What do you think is our defensive outlook? Do you think that we are going to have a top defense, or do you think it'll be like one of those bend don't break type of things?
You can answer that by just history repeating itself. I doubt there's no bend but don't break in not one of our defensive coaches. Mike Nolan is a break. I'm going to break you, coach. He's a break. I'm going to break you. Not we going to break. You know what I mean? Mike Nolan's that type of guy. Tom Sula, he's that type of guy. Edwards is that type of guy. Look at Minnesota. Look at their teams. Look at Mike McCarthy with Green Bay. He had Dom Capers. You don't go get Dom Capers, who was blitz central. That's all he did was blitz.
Mm-hmm.
Unique zone blitzes all day. He played a lot. He coached a lot like Dick LeBeau. Guys that just create mismatches with zone blitzing and understanding like that Dick LeBeau tree or that Dick LeBeau scheme, which is like the same as like similar to Jimmy Johnson, but Jimmy Johnson, was it Jimmy Johnson? That coach for the Eagles, what was his name?
Jimmy Johnson, the old Jimmy Johnson back in the day used to blitz the shit out of you every damn play.
All day long.
I used to hate playing against that damn defense. He blitzed every damn down.
He used to hide guys in that defense. He hid Brian Dawkins for a long time in that defense because he created a scheme where the blitzing allowed Brian Dawkins to kind of use his instincts because he knew before a play, if you're blitzing front side, I know the quarterback is going to throw hot backside, so I'm going to play in that short zone backside. So Brian Dawkins was getting able to make plays because he knows his guys are setting him up for the oop with that. Same thing with Troy Polamalu with Dick LeBeau. Troy Polamalu is not Troy Polamalu if I'm getting to the Xavier Woods comment you made because Troy Polamalu is not Troy Polamalu if you ask him to only play 15, 20 yards off the ball and only in coverage situations. He's an average guy. Then he doesn't jump over the line and grab quarterbacks with perfect timing if you got him playing 20, 30 yards off the ball all the time in one position. He's not able to use his instincts, which was the best part of his game. Get what I'm saying? Roy Williams was Roy Williams when you had him in the box playing his game and able to just come down and just wreak havoc, because that's what he does. When you say, hey, playing coverage 20 yards off the ball, he's not going to play like that. Ed Reed, if you had him in the box and not 20 yards off the ball, he would have been out of his game. But when you look at the way Dom Capers, Dick LeBeau, and those guys, those blitz-happy, zone blitz scheme type coaches play, they're able to get the best out of their secondary and help their secondary as well. They never really need it. Pittsburgh very rarely has a top-flight secondary. They usually have a shutdown guy out there somewhere, like their shutdown guy, which like Ike Taylor one year. Last year was what's his name? Starts with H. Hayden.
Joe Hayden.
They had Joe Hayden and then so on. But you always have a guy that can man up against your best guy, but then everywhere else is zone. So they never really needed a top flight secondary. They just want a bunch of physical guys out there. We got a pretty good secondary as far as manning up if we want to, but if you take Jordan or if you take Trayvon or if you take Cheeto, either one of those three guys, and you say, hey, your job is to take out their best man, and you zone up everywhere else, and we're zone blitzing and using scheme-based blitzes situation-based blitzes based on down and distance and hash marks, so on. I think this gives everybody flexibility to kind of do what they do best. So you're going to see a better Xavier Woods, in my opinion, because Xavier Woods is not just playing single high. He's not just was he a single high safety in college? No, he played nickel. He played
and they had him in the nickel his first year. Remember when he first came in his first year, he's playing nickel. He's playing all around the field. And then
I like him at nickel because he's good enough to cover your Doug Baldwins of the world. He's good enough to no disrespect to Doug Baldwin.
Yeah.
I'm just saying he's good enough to cover those guys that are more route run rather than just burners. He's not a burner, so I wouldn't put him up against a guy like you don't want to pick anybody against Tyreek Hill for real.
Hell no.
But I wouldn't put him up against one of your Odells or anything like that. If you catch him in the slot that way, you want to help him out. But when he's in the slot against one of your normal average receivers, you don't know if he's blitzing or covering that guy. I like him there because of that same Cheeto effect. You don't know what they're doing when they're in the slot because they are able to give you good run support, even though he's not as great a tackler when it comes to standing still, letting the running back run at him. He needs a running start to get his pops off. He's an impact hitter rather than a good form tackler. He needs to get some head of steam ahead of in him. But he's great in coverage. He's a lot like the other little guy that came out of Louisiana Tech this year. What's the kid's name?
Amik.
Amir.
Yeah, Amir. I think it's Amik or Amir. One of those. It's something. I think it's Amik.
Yeah. He only 5'8", 5'9", but they play a lot alike. They could play, except for Amir is a little bit better tackler. But I think him and Xavier have similar game. Like they can play coverage pretty well, and they can play safety if you needed them to.
Yeah. And you know what? Like I said, I think the biggest problem when we're talking about this is that you had a whole bunch of talent, but it made it look like we didn't have that type of talent because of the way the scheme was. Now I feel like you're going to have people that are finally the coaches that are going to let them be aggressive. Like you said, multiple fronts, disguising looks. Now you'll be able to see the talent that we've been having, and we've been looking at our defense like, man, what's going on? Now you see this. All right, give me 1 second. We got a call coming in. Let's see who this is, big dog.
Call from
Bluff City.
All right, I got
press
Bluff City Cowboys on here. What's up, Bluff City?
Hey, man, what's going on?
What's going on with you, dog? I appreciate you. First of all, good work on everything you've been doing over there. I appreciate you calling in. What you got to say, big dog?
Man, thanks. Learning from the best, man. Watch you every week.
Hey, I ain't saying I'm the best, dog. I'm just grinding, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I appreciate that video content because that shit is all flame on.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
I got
man, I almost hated the call because of Akoye on the roll and they ain't want to step up the flow.
Well, what's up, man?
I got a couple questions about offense, and I'll make them quick.
Okay.
Number one, right tackle. Lyle Collins is out. And
Wyatt Miller has been starting at that right tackle spot. Number one, what does that say about Brandon Knight? And number two, do you think this is a good time to try Connor Williams out at tackle a little bit?
Well, my opinion, look, number one, I always liked Brandon Knight. Number one,
I did too.
I liked him, and I thought he played pretty good last year against the Jets, and I thought he played good against the Vikings. So I was thinking, let's see something, but I haven't seen anything. Matter of fact, that kid Terrence Steele was starting there a couple days before that. So yes, it's a little frustrating right there. I would definitely look to see Connor Williams because here's my thing. He was playing a little bit of guard today. I want McGovern to win that. But my opinion on Connor Williams is I think he was just overdrafted. They keep on saying let's play him at tackle, but he's got short arms. He's athletic, but I don't think he has power. And I just don't think he'd be a great tackle. Do I think he's an option as a backup right tackle? Okay, but I just don't think he's going to be a great tackle if you put him at tackle. When we had Brian brought us on the show, he said let's put him at center. I wouldn't mind putting him at center because I just don't think he's going to be that guy. I think he got overdrafted, and I just feel like the reason why we keep talking about him is because his high draft status.
You're right. Hey, let me throw one more in real quick because this one I've been trying to look up. I can't find anything.
Okay.
I
know
say,
you gotta follow.
If there's a place for him,
position,
because he's not a guard.
Have we been using it in practice?
Go ahead, Bluff.
Yeah. Fullback position.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been using it in practice? Have they been using a tight end? Has Saywell been playing fullback? Have you seen anything about that spot?
I haven't heard anything about that fullback position. I know they've been bringing Pollard out there, and you know they got rid of your boy. So I've just heard that they're not really pressing that fullback. You know, Mike McCarthy's always had one, but I just don't think that fullback is just going to be a big issue this year. I think they're just really going to be spreading a lot of people out. And if you know Mike McCarthy like you do, Bluff, he pass happy as hell. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So I was just watching the Green Bay the game the other day, and that dude was just throwing the slinging the ball everywhere. And I just feel like that fullback is just not going to be a huge use because we have so many offensive weapons.
He always used the fullback. He used the fullback usually.
Yeah. I don't want to hold you up because I want to hear more of Akoye talk. I know other people are calling in.
Okay. Hey, appreciate you, big dog.
Keep up the good work, man. I'm gonna keep following, man.
Hey,
keep it up.
Hey, I appreciate you, and I'm gonna be following you too, big dog. All right, I'm gonna let Akoye answer these.
You gotta drop his name for me too.
This is Bluff City Cowboys.
Bluff City Cowboys. Got you. I'll check him out.
All right, so I'm gonna have him answer this question, and I appreciate you, big dog.
All right, man. Take care.
Yes, sir. All right, go ahead, Akoye. You heard what was going on. What's your thoughts?
Green Bay was one of the few teams that actually used fullbacks for some time. They always had some strong iron head. Like they had Coons.
Yeah,
they had who they had before that.
They had
number 44.
They had Coons. They had some other kid that was.
He was like a running back / fullback guy. But I think you're going to see those passing opportunities or those sneak you out into the flat opportunities. They might use, two backs with Pollard and Zeke on the field at the same time. You might see that quite often if we ever run those split back or wishbone looks. You might see just a lot of Zeke and Pollard on the field at the same time, which might be why they got rid of Jameis. But I agree with you. I don't really think that Mike McCarthy is, coming in this blind. He's thinking. So if he doesn't use a fullback, it's because he wants to spread you out and create mismatches all over the place. And when you got CeeDee Lamb, we haven't even talked about that, but you got CeeDee Lamb, and CeeDee Lamb is not the best playmaker, in my opinion, on this offense. It still is, and because he could do both very well. It's still Tony Pollard to me. We haven't used him. I'm not saying he's better in any one position than anybody. He's not a better wide receiver than CeeDee Lamb. He's not a better running back than Ezekiel Elliott. But the fact that he's able to do a little bit of everything very well makes him like that Tyrone Crawford of the offense. He's very pivotal because you can create all kinds of mismatches with him on the field. You don't know what he's doing. So I think they're going to come out with packages that kind of exploit that. I really do. All we did to try to exploit that before was, we were going to do it. Here comes the jet sweep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're trying to set up that end around. Once we get inside the 30, here comes a reverse action play. They're actually going to hand the ball off. Every time we got to the 30, I knew what we were about to do every single game, offensively and defensively. And I'm at home watching it.
I
So
sent the caller to
it's
voicemail.
got to be easy if you get paid to know, like the opposing teams were. So I think, I know that was a long ass answer, but I think Mike McCarthy's not worried about a fullback for that reason.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he's, like I said, I just feel like we got so many other weapons. It's just not a big deal. And you can throw, if they have that rookie there, I think you can work with that and you can live with it, just because I feel like it's going to be a lot of options. Now I got another caller getting ready to come in, Akoye, and we'll see if we can answer this question right quick, big dog. I ain't gonna hold you too much longer.
No, I'm not in no rush.
Okay, cool.
I miss talking football. Let's
cool.
Call from.
Hey, what's going on? This is Big Game James. We got Akoye Media on here as the guest today. Who is this I am speaking to?
Hey, man, it's Monte.
What's up with you, big dog?
Man, ain't too much enough, man. Much love to you boys, man. First time calling in, man. Been watching boys for a minute.
Hey, really appreciate that, man. And you know what I'm saying? I'm excited. I finally got my damn call-in line, so I just got a big cheesy ass smile on my face. But what's your question and your comment, big dog?
Hey, man, just on the strength of the defense, man. I'm a defensive coach, man. I kind of like where this thing going, man. What you guys think about that D-line, though?
I mean, me personally, I'll let Akoye answer this once you get off the call, but for me to answer it right now, I'm excited, and just like what we've been talking about before, I think the reason why I'm more excited about anything is it's not going to be the same thing when you come to the line of scrimmage. There are going to be variations, just like Akoye said. There might be 3-4 or 4-3. You're going to be seeing a lot of disguising, and plus, I think that addition of Everson, Griffen, Aldon Smith, even bringing back Antoine Woods, and I really think Tristan Hill is going to surprise people. I know a lot of people love Neville Gallimore, but I keep on saying Tristan Hill is going to surprise people, and it's a big thing to keep Tyron Crawford, because like we've been talking about, he's versatile. You can slide him into that 3-tech position. So I like what we're looking at, and I also like the fact that you can stand up D-Law and not make it look like he's coming at the line of scrimmage. Disguising is the biggest thing that you can do to confuse quarterbacks. Even if you're confusing a veteran, but especially if you're confusing these young quarterbacks, get after these guys, man.
Right on, but I agree with Akoye, man. I think they boys gonna really go to a 3-4. I think Tristan Hill and Neville Gallimore, man, them boys can do some things on the inside too.
Yeah.
And I think also Everson Griffen can play on the inside. I like Jalen standing up on the outside and possibly D-Law.
Right.
And on the sub package, you can play Aldon Smith, you know what I mean? Randy, if he get reinstated. And I think them boys can make some noise like that with a NASCAR package.
You ain't telling nothing but preaching to the choir, big dog. When you start talking like that, made me think of that New York Giants smacking up Tom Brady in that damn Super Bowl. You feel me?
Damn right. I think these boys gonna make a run this year, man.
Hey, it's our time, man. But hey, I really appreciate you. I'm gonna let Akoye give his thoughts on your question, man. But keep on supporting. If you ain't a sub, be a sub. And if you'd like to become a member, become a member.
Thanks.
Right on, right on.
Hey, appreciate you, big dog. We'll be talking to you soon. Thank you for your question. All right, Akoye, go ahead and answer that right quick. We kind of been talking about that back and forth, but as you said, Montez asked you those thoughts on the defensive line. What would you give it a grade right now, if you could just give it a preseason grade right now, or if your thoughts are looking at it?
That's what you call an easy A, man. That's an easy A.
And I like it because, see, you're critical, and that's what, hey, ho, got a $5 holler from my dog. Seeing you being critical.
Holla.
You've been critical, and that's what I like about you, because you've been critical of that defense and different things. And to hear you come out and saying this, I'm getting excited, because
paper,
you don't play around. So I'm getting excited. That's what I'm saying. You be going hard, so you giving it an A. I'm feeling good.
Yeah, that's an A. I mean, all right, look at this. Did you think we had a bad defensive line last year?
I don't think it was bad. I just think it was badly coached.
Okay, do you think we had a bad defensive line the year before that?
Not really. I kind of average, but maybe some more
Okay, yeah,
playmakers.
you could give it an average. Like I'll give it a C plus, B minus, whatever, right? Somewhere in there,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's average, right? And that's with D Law, who's a Pro Bowler, who is a beast, who was always double teamed, who had to stunt his way to the quarterback because he was always double team, triple team, all types of stuff because he didn't get help anywhere else, unless we were stunting. He had Crawford who got hurt, but Crawford was, Mr. Utility Knife. Never really had a solid one tech guy that was always there, period. Um, Woods came in out of nowhere, started playing okay, and played well beyond his pay grade. Then you had Randy Gregory rotation in and out of there, and then whoever, Benson Mayowa, George Selvies as defensive ends. We've never had this much talent up front in the last, dare I say, 10 years. Even when DeMarcus Ware was here, it was DeMarcus Ware. Remember, we had Anthony Spencer, who couldn't do shit on
He
the
was
other
on
side
his
of the
last
field.
leg because he had that microfracture knee, so he was just on a
Yeah, he
bump.
couldn't do shit on the other side, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've never had this much talent up front, period. You got to go back to 93 to the Russell, Maryland, Leon Lett era to see that Charles Haley and those guys to see
So
that
you're
much
not
talent
gonna.
up
So
front.
hold up. So you ain't gonna say that when we're like 07, 08, when they had Ratliff and
Okay, yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
Canty and Ware,
Spears. Oh yeah,
Spears.
okay. Marcus Spears, Chris Canty, yeah. Ratliff, who choked up. Who he lived for? I think he choked up Jerry Jones.
Yeah, he choked
But
up, and I mean, I think we had a young Jason Hatcher on there too.
yeah, Hatcher was my man. So I'll give
Burnett,
you that.
yeah. I think
But
that
even those
defense can
guys,
bang with him.
you didn't know that Chris Canty hurt his eye, so we didn't know what he was going to do. But I knew his talent was there. But those were Parcells coach guys.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'll give you that. That was a good unit. But it's still, I don't think it's touching this unit. I don't think so. I don't think they touching it. Everson Griffen.
Hold on one
Go
second,
ahead.
big dog. I got another call in. My bad.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
But
No, you good.
it's my dog. I think this is my
Call
dog.
from
Is this my dog, Young?
Yeah, man. What's up, James?
What's going on, man? My dog, Young Wilson from Hawaii.
I got the Mai
What's up,
Tais
Young?
ready for you, brother.
Hey, we coming. Like I said, I told you I checked the tickets. Them jokers was cheap, so we coming. So don't worry about that. Get them jokers ready. We coming. But what's your question or your comment right quick, big dog?
Well, my comment's this, man. I think the defensive line, even with Gerald going down, that's pretty sad for him for the whole year on not his knee, right? It was
it was
muscle.
his thigh, yeah, torn thigh.
Yeah, it's that torn thigh, right? So, I think Akoye said, I think our defensive line hasn't been this good in a long time. So I don't really worry too much about it. We got some beef up there. At least we can kind of hide our defense, not like last year. Like you said, I think you said coaching was a big deal. Hopefully this year we disguise a little bit more with a new DC. I think we might be able to move into a 3-4, 4-3 easily. I don't think we'll be stuck in that same 4-3 with just no disguise at all. I think that's what we lacked. And I don't know. Still optimistic. People get hurt.
I mean,
next man up.
Hey, injuries are the part of the game. For us to not think there wasn't going to be any injuries on that team, and that's just not even. And I said it before, even with this COVID thing, you didn't have OTAs, you didn't have a mini camp, you didn't have rookie camp. You're going straight to training camp, hitting the ground running. These things are going to happen. I feel like it's going to be even more. There were 7 major injuries already in the first day of pads. It's going to be more. It's just going to happen. But I like the way the Cowboys covered their tracks, getting the Aldon Smith at a bargain rate, getting the Everson Griffen at a good rate. You know what I'm saying? Signing Antoine Woods at a good rate. So a lot of these guys they have on the defensive line are not costing a lot of money, except maybe Tyrone Crawford. But at the end of the day, you see how much you need him. So I'm not tripping about that this year.
But if if McCoy was healthy, you let Crawford go?
No, even if McCoy was healthy, I still wouldn't got rid of Tyrone Crawford. Everybody talks about that salary, and I feel you. But if Tyrone Crawford and if McCoy was still there, I'm keeping Tyrone Crawford with that whole group because that group becomes even better with all those guys healthy. So it's great that we kept him, but I'm no way cutting Crawford, and even if McCoy didn't get hurt.
Gotcha. Crawford didn't call
But
Jerry Jones
the
doing
sleeper,
something.
I think, is
That
going to
dude
be
would never
he's
get
not
cut.
even on the he's
They
not on the
love
interior
Crawford.
line. Bradley Ane is going to surprise a lot of people this year.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think he's going to be that designated pass rush guy that they bring in like on a third down and just say, "Hey man, you ain't got to do anything, but just pin your ears in and just go after the quarterback." Because if you listen to Mike McCarthy today, he said we want to get all our pass rushers on the field to just be able to pin their ears back and get after the quarterback, and that's what we want.
That's what we want, man. We want Super Bowl this year.
You feel me?
I'll let some other callers get in there, brother.
Hey, appreciate you, man. Love you for life, man.
Me too, man.
Yes,
Take
sir.
care.
Take care. All right, that's my dog, Young Wilson. But just as he was expanding upon that Akoye, just like he was kind of agreeing with you, well, he was agreeing with you. As said, it's been a long time since we had this kind of defensive line and the depth, and it's a good thing that it. And here's the thing with me, Akoye. Gerald McCoy goes down. Any other year, we're all crying the blues. We're crying. Yeah. We're like, oh my God, the season's over. Doesn't it feel good that even though you lost to McCoy and it does hurt, that you don't feel bad like the sky is falling because you're feeling like we still got players? And that's what I'm excited about this new staff is that they cover the tracks. And we ain't even talking. What if Randy Gregory gets reinstated? Oh, boy.
You just took it out my brain when I was thinking. I was just sitting there listening like, we ain't even talk about the fact that Randy Gregory not even a mention yet. We haven't even talked about him. We ain't talking about Randy Gregory. We barely. You know who else we ain't mentioned? Bradley Ane.
Yeah, that's what Young just said because he's from Hawaii.
Yeah, we not talking about these guys, and that's a good thing. When these guys were like, like last year, if Bradley Ane was on this team, we would have said he was. He would be in the running to be our second best pass rusher on the team, even though I don't even think pass rushing is his main. Even though he can pass rush, I'm talking about like I don't think that's how we're going to primarily use him only. Though we're not going to say, "Oh, you're a designated pass rusher," because he has the size to two gap and stop the run if he uses the proper technique. Mm-hmm. Even though he didn't do it consistently in college, he can, and he's tight in the hips, so he's not a coverage guy. So he definitely is going to be. If he puts on 10 more pounds, he's going to be either a 3-tech or outside defensive end primarily, or maybe a 3-4 defensive end even, playing a lot like that other kid,
Epinesa from Iowa,
who I also wanted. You put 10 pounds, 20 pounds on Bradley Ane, he's right there doing the same stuff Epinesa was doing. So, because that's how he plays. He's not a super fast, but he's deceptively quick. Big guy, and he plays with he plays like a Hawaiian. Mm-hmm. He plays like a Hawaiian.
Yeah, he does.
Like he want to eat your blood. He plays like that. I like it. So, and we don't even talk about him. So, and we ain't talking about Randy Gregory either. Randy Gregory playing where you know he can pin his ears back, and two, you can't double team.
Hold on, Akoye, my bad.
Somebody else too?
Yeah, my dog Texas. Is that Texas Bread?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's up, dog? My bad, Akoye. It's kind of weird how we got this, but my dog Texas Bread is on the phone. It's been a while since I talked to you, man. Hey, man, what's your question or your comment right quick for me or Akoye?
All right. First off, let me say, y'all need to quit talking about my boy Tyrone. The man's been consistent over the years he been here. Just because he got a little pay, he earned that. Leave that man alone. Let him do his job, please.
I got you.
And secondly, what do y'all guys think about the special teams? We're talking about offense and defense, but I want to know what you guys think is going to happen with our special teams.
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll go ahead and answer that question. Because we'll do it because I don't want to answer it and I'll have a question. So we'll both answer that question when we go ahead and get off, and we'll attack that right now, big dog.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Shout out to you, brother.
I just wanted to bless the calendar and everything. Y'all have a good afternoon, night, morning for them over on the other side of the world, and I'm gonna get back to doing what I do best.
420.
Yeah, baby. And I'll be right behind you, big dog. You know we don't play around with that. You know how we do.
Yeah, sir.
All right,
Y'all
man.
have a good one.
Hey, you too, man. That was my boy Texas Bragg, and he knows what it is. But Akoye, since he asked a great question about this special teams, now before you answer this question, Akoye, I want to say this because people was getting on me. Oh no, don't let CeeDee Lamb play punt return. Get after Tony Pollard because CeeDee Lamb. No, CeeDee Lamb's a punt returner. He's electric. Get that man the ball. Put him at punt return. Let's stop being scared and worry about somebody going to get hurt. This man is electric and he needs the ball in his hands. That's my opinion. Let that man do his thing. But what's your opinion on the special teams as a whole? And Greg Zuerlein, CeeDee Lamb on punt returns? Talk to me.
I say, yeah, you don't. I got the same Parcells philosophy. It's players' jobs not to get injured. You don't protect. You can't protect your players. That's what you have them for. Like if you're playing to not get hurt, you're gonna get hurt. So yeah, I don't believe in that. It's the same thing with fighting. If you're boxing to not get knocked out, you might as well say you're just trying to survive. That we're not playing to survive. If you had a team right now, you had a kid who the most electrifying kid you got on the team is the one's gonna be back there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing different. We're playing to win.
Mm-hmm.
I want to win.
Right.
I want to win, and special teams is a third of the game. So of course you want your best unit possible on the field. Now you do play it smart. If you didn't have Gallup, if you didn't have Cooper, if you didn't have Pollard, yeah, you don't put CeeDee Lamb out there because he might get himself hurt. But when you had Dez was out there because we had Miles Austin at the time, and I think Terrence Williams too, right?
Yeah, I remember Antonio Brown first came to the league. He was returning punts. I mean, that's what you do.
That's what you do. Exactly. You pay your dues, kid. So pay your dues, and if you get hurt doing it, we'll see you next year. But let's hope you don't. I got love for CeeDee Lamb. I want him to be on the field. I think he's like, he's a great route runner, but when he gets the ball in his hands, that's when he's special.
Gosh, he's magic when he touches.
That's when he's special.
Man, he's magic.
He's great. Don't get me wrong. He can catch the catch that he had against UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
That one hand, that's just crazy. He can do stuff like that. He is a high point guy too.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me twisted. But I've seen high point guys. Dez was a high point guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen high point guys. But when he gets special is when he gets the ball. Watch the game against Texas. Against Texas.
You just had to say that, though. You ain't have to bring my team up, man.
He got hit like he was going against this kid I watched. I wasn't even watching Lamb though. Mm-hmm. I was watching the dude Mike Brown.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mike Brown, the number 19, their safety. They had him following Lamb around.
Mm-hmm.
He was destroying that kid. And then he caught it across the middle. He got hit by him and hit by like 3 other people, and they thought he was just going to step out of bounds. He maintained his balance and ran right in for a touchdown. Like, it's just him with the ball in his hands is just a special thing. So yeah, special teams. I think our unit will be good if he's back there. But I also think it'll be good if Pollard's back there. I don't care which one of them you put back there. You figure that out in practice. Whichever one is the most electrifying when they're back there, you put them back there, and you play to win. You don't try to protect your players out of the game or use them solely for one thing, unless they can't do anything else. Like Devin Hester was only Devin. He couldn't cover very well. He wasn't the best receiver, but he can definitely return punts like nobody business. So when you got a guy that's like that, yeah, that's his job. Like Tavon Austin's one of those guys. Like, yeah, that's probably his job. Just kickoff return. He's not a great receiver. He doesn't do great things out of the backfield running either. But both of these guys do. So I don't care which one you use because they're both just as valuable on the offense or to the offense as the other, Pollard or CeeDee Lamb. I wouldn't want to see either one of them go down. So, it's not like, hey, just let's get a guy and just throw him in there. Nah, let's get our best guy and put him out there.
And yeah, that's what I was saying, because I had a couple people like, man, put Cedric Wilson. No, I like Cedric Wilson as a 4th or 5th or 6th receiver.
I don't want to hear Cedric Wilson's name.
Hey,
I don't want to hear until he plays some football.
Hey, he can play some football to me, but he been hurt. You know what I'm saying?
I got to see. I mean, everybody the man in college. Everybody the man in their own hood.
Hey, don't sleep on my boy Cedric.
On your block.
Don't sleep on my boy Cedric.
You know what I mean? Everybody man in their own hood, man. You got to show me on the field. I need to see it.
Hey, like I said, don't sleep on my boy Cedric. All right,
I ain't sleeping on him.
I like him.
I just want to see him. I just want to see him play. You
Yeah.
know, that's it. Remember we had a dude on the team we talked about every year too. I just don't give him no more tick because we've done this all the time. Like
Noah Brown.
Noah Brown won. Mike Johnson. Remember Michael Johnson? He
was
safety.
Yes.
No, his knee was the same every year, but we talk about this dude playing we not doing that no more. You know, you got to play first, then we talk about you.
So let me ask you this. Dak Prescott. Now, you've evolved on Dak Prescott, in my opinion. You was a little bit critical.
No.
A little bit.
Dak Prescott has evolved.
Okay, he's evolved, but y'all evolved together. I will say y'all have evolved together. I will say that.
That's fair.
So,
that's fair.
Dak Prescott, what kind of year do you think he has under McCarthy this year?
Scary.
Scary?
Scary. Great.
He tops 5,000?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
It's possible, but I think you still got like Mike McCarthy relied on the run with Green Bay because he never. I mean, on the pass with Green Bay because he never really had a running back until he got when you remember what was the kid's name? Fat kid kept getting big. Number 27.
Eddie Lacy.
Eddie Lacy.
Mm-hmm.
When he got him, you notice they started running the ball more and they didn't throw the ball. They weren't as unbalanced when Eddie Lacy was there.
Mm-hmm.
And also when he was coaching the Saints, he had Ricky Williams. Ricky Williams had a hell of a year under under Mike McCarthy. So I think he likes running backs more than people give him credit for. He just will use whatever he has to get where he needs to be. But with Zeke out there and Pollard, they're going to definitely get their fair share, and that's going to eat into and then we're going to be up at times too. So Dak might not be passing the ball or playing from a deficit enough to get that type of yardage. You might get one of those years like Romo had that year where we had Murray, DeMarco Murray was running wild.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Romo didn't have to do as much. Dak might not have to put up 5,000 yards is what I'm saying. I'm not saying he can't. He might not have to. He might have a lot of touchdowns though, but I don't think he has to put up 5,000 yards because I don't see us being in situations where we need to be playing catch up every single game like we're used to. Dak was putting up a lot of yards in the fourth quarter for the last 2 years because we had to. If you're killing teams in the beginning, Dak is kind of just turning around, handing the ball off, and then waiting for the time to run out. If we're playing the way we should be playing, and that defense is playing how it should be playing, it all works together. But what Dak's skill level? Forget the stats. Chris Richard was coaching for stats, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Screw stats. Dak had the stats last year, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Screw the stats. Dak's ability to assess what's happening in the game, to turn that killer instinct that he does have. He's a killer. Turn that on. When I see Dak run guys over and put his shoulder down and really they're the worst for wear after it, that's what made me respect Dak. It's like I don't see a lot of quarterbacks other than maybe Cam Newton attempting to do stuff like that, or in Jackson. They'll go right at you. I like that because it trickles down to the rest of the team. And no matter what you feel about a guy's personality off the field or what you think he needs to work on mechanics-wise, whatever, it don't matter what it is. I don't care about his personality, but I'm just saying whatever your knock on a guy is, you can't tell me you don't get hype when Dak runs over Josh Norman.
Hell yeah, I made a video and I said Josh Normal when he ran over Josh Norman.
Right. You can't say that you don't get hype when that happens. So when you see a quarterback do that, you could say like that's something you build around. So Dak earned every bit of my respect because of the way he handled this contract situation and the way he plays on the field despite all that. He puts it all out there. Remember, the same things that got like I don't change, man. When it comes to that, the same things I was defending Dez over, which is unjustified criticism, is the same thing I find myself defending Dak over now. The same people who were coming at me for Dez are now on Dak's ass. See what I'm saying? About his contract, right? So it's the same way. Like this is the way our fan base is. We just choose somebody else to kind of like self-destruct on, and that's Dak's just the target right now. And it's not anything wrong with the way Dak plays football. I think he's progressing now he showed me that each year he's going to come in and do what it takes to progress, and he's done that. And Mike McCarthy has shown enough in his track record. Aaron Brooks is all you need to look at. But his record speaks for itself when it comes to being a quarterback whisperer or a guru, if you want to use that word. I don't really care about those terms, but if you want to use those terms, it fits.
Yeah. Well, like you said, I think the biggest thing that I love about Dak, just like you said, and I heard Tyrone Crawford say this today in his interview, and this is the thing that I really love is this Tyrone Crawford is basically like, Dak's a beast. He's a monster. And if y'all can't see that, you don't know football. Like, I don't even know and if you don't think he's good, who gives a hell? That's the mentality I like, because I think everybody in that locker room, they hear that noise and they're basically like, man, ain't nobody paying no attention to that. This is our man.
If Peyton Manning ever ran over Josh Norman, if Peyton Manning ever flipped over a safety, did a front flipped over a safety onto his back onto his feet, and spikes the ball, that would be the only play on every Gatorade commercial for the rest of the century. Because if Tom Brady ever did, I've never seen Tom Brady do that, but I respect Tom Brady.
I mean, think about it. You just mentioned that right there. What do they always show of John Elway? They don't show John Elway on no other thing. What do they?
You ain't never seen them show John Elway ripping teams apart. They showed
that run in that Super Bowl, helicopter run,
helicopter hit. Yep, they show that over and over again. But Dak does that every week without getting his back broken doing it though. He get right back up. So I look at that like, okay, I take that with a grain of salt, man. Like, I think that Dak's criticism, and I got caught up in the middle of it. It wasn't my fault though, but I got caught in the middle of a war that I wasn't fighting. I criticize players that aren't playing up to my standard, and if it just so happens to be a player that you despise, then despise him and use that content if you so choose. But people use my criticism of Dak as their shield to criticize him today. And that's not what it is.
They still trying to play that video.
Criticism is about getting you to get better. I want Dak to get better. I don't care what body my good quarterback is sitting in or what his name is. If it's Dakota, Rain, Prescott, fine with me. Long as that quarterback plays the way I want him to play. I don't care who he is. So when I criticize Dak, it's because I didn't like how Dak was playing, and I didn't like the fact that other guys were getting thrown under the bus because of it, when all they had to say was he's a young quarterback and these guys need to all band around him, which is what it is. That's how it goes. Peyton Manning had the same problems, except for he wasn't running in for touchdowns when he was young. He had the same problems and Dak actually had better stats up until this point in their careers, and actually a better playoff record too, up until this point in their careers. But we weren't hearing this noise from Colts fans back then. So when you look at that, it's definitely more there to it. And I don't really care what that is. If you want to say it's racism or race related, I don't listen to the criticism itself. I listen to the energy behind it, like the viscerality to it. It's something else you're holding on to. You can't be holding on stats, because I took that away from you already. You can't be holding on heart or leadership, because he shows that on the field. What are you holding on? You can't be holding on to mechanics, because he's showing that he acknowledges that his mechanics weren't great and he's been working on it. So what are you holding on to if not hate, just straight hate? What else can you be holding on to now? We took everything out. He's taken he listens to the criticism because he's doing the work. And that's all I ask you to do. And bleed blue on the field, which is all the reason I defended Dez is because he bleeds blue. The reason I was hype on Jason Witten when the first time he retired, and I was down on him the second time, because he bled blue the first time he was here. The second time he came back because he just was looking for something to do, and he played like it. See? So the reason I was down on him the second time was because I want players that bleed blue. Dak bleeds blue. He didn't necessarily when he first got here, because I didn't know who he was. I do now, and I like him because he bleeds blue. He's going to leave his life on the line for you. What else do you want in a quarterback? And I'm not asking a rhetorical question to those out there. I want y'all to think about that and answer it, because if you don't like Dak right now, has he worked on his mechanics? The answer is yes. Has he shown last year that he's able to make throws, even if it is in the fourth quarter? Is he able to make the throws that you ask him to make that he couldn't make before on a consistent basis? Yes. Did Amari Cooper come here and make him better? They said, "Oh, it's Amari Cooper." Was Amari Cooper in Oakland? Fuck no. Excuse my French. No. Amari Cooper was hit or miss in Oakland because he was on a lot of my fantasy teams. Amari Cooper could kill you one week, and Derek Carr wasn't killing with Amari Cooper this way. Now, when he comes over here, yeah, he made Dak better. But didn't Dak make him better too?
Dak definitely. I mean, they
Say what?
They went. Yeah,
say what?
Yeah, they made both. They made each other better. You know what I'm saying?
Say it again.
But here's the thing. I'm gonna say it with you. When Amari came over, Dallas was 3-5. And when, like you said, Dallas all of a sudden went on this winning streak. But when they said, "Oh, Amari made the team better," somebody had to throw Amari the ball. So Amari could not be good by itself. Amari could never be anything unless he had the ball thrown to him.
You could go pick. You could put Amari Cooper on the team with like Hoyer, or with anybody. It doesn't matter, huh? That's what they said, huh? You might as well go get Johnny Manziel and bring him from CFL and say, "Look, Amari Cooper is here." Doesn't matter who our quarterback is. So why pay Dak? You might as well not even have the contract dispute, right? The way they talking. You might as well just say, "Hey, look, man, we can get rid of Dak. We can bring anybody in here to throw." Oh, Andy Dalton, right? He's gonna go and he's gonna make Amari Cooper great again. You see what I'm saying? Like, nah, man, I'm not trying to hear none of that. Give that. I don't care about. I'm not gonna say give him his money now, later, because I think Dak's holding out. He might get the money he's asking for if he go out and do what he's supposed to do and wait. So wait, it might help him too. So I'm not saying give him his money now. Plus, I understand the leverage of negotiation. So on both sides of the ball. So I'm not saying give him his money now or not. I'm just saying those of you who are getting caught in that argument and still going at him, please, in your own mind, verify what exactly you're attacking today, not yesterday, right now. What are you attacking? Because I can't find anything that's worth attacking.
And
I can't.
There's nothing to attack. You're just a hater. Let's just keep it real. You're just a hater.
Right.
And just like you said, I think Ruglock just said it on here, which is true. Amari Cooper had an opportunity to make more money other places, and he said one of the reasons why I'm staying here is because I love Dak. I love playing with him, and I don't want to go play with anybody else. This is a receiver who's they talk about, oh, don't get along, he sulks, this and that. He said the reason why I came here is because I love Dallas, but I love Dak. And then once I got here, the relationship has just grown. When you hear all these other players with the Cowboys, I ain't heard one player, and I don't care. None of these guys got to back him like that. But when you genuinely hear them, you genuinely believe it. Like they believe in Dak. We had Darren Woodson. We had Jesse Holley. We had all these guys on the channel, Akoye. And the first thing they said was when Dak got drafted, they said the locker room had already gravitated to him his rookie year.
Well, you can see that by the fact that he took the job his rookie year, too.
Right?
But it's not hard to tell, man. Like, big game. If I didn't like you, right? Like, say we ain't like each other, but we had to go to war together, or we were in an alley together. If I watch you, fight your way through something where our backs are up against it, and you fighting for your life, and you grinding out there, or if me and you are fighting, like I box, so if you come across the ring, I want to tear your head off and be boxing, right? But if I see that I'm giving you my best Sunday punch and you getting up or you coming right back at me, the respect is earned right there. And when you watch Dak play the way he plays, you gotta respect that, man.
For sure.
He's out there laying it out. Like, you can't not respect a dude who he's not Tim Tebow, man. Like, stop trying to play that. Because we all had love for Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow all he was doing was the one side of Dak was just running and trucking guys like a fullback.
Hold on, Akoye. We got a call right quick. My bad, big dog. Who we got on the line right now?
Wait a minute. What was that about that?
Oh, no. No, Jessica. He ain't say nothing but great things about Dak. So you good.
She was ready to
she called back in. She called back in to make sure you wasn't talking about.
Wait a minute.
But see, that's what I like. You
Well,
stand for it and you got heart.
when
I don't
on
care what
today,
it is.
my
It
question
don't
I
matter.
got to thinking about,
But I'm not
like
saying nothing about it
sometimes in the
at
press
all.
conference, I noticed they be trying to trick them up to try to get them to say what's going on, what they're practicing on, and how they practicing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like that because the media is there. To me, it's like they trying to help get information for the other team. And I was like, kind of like when Zeke said with how they was making plays and how he was thinking about different plays, how somebody else, he wasn't running the ball, how he'd be over there to help protect Dak and everything like that. I kind of was like, somebody need to kind of let them know, hey, y'all, watch how they try to trick y'all up on what y'all doing out there. Because to me, that's a little bit of too much information he kind of gave out today. I love my boy, but I'm like, I want to say, at that last ending, how he said about the plays they was doing and running. You know, the media people be trying to get feed off of that so they can get that, to record that so the other team can get it. To me, seem like I don't like that.
Yeah, I feel you, Jessica. I think one of the things
But I'm gonna let y'all go.
I feel you. I'm gonna go ahead and answer this. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Jessica.
I think answering her question, if you listen to it, when that injury came out with Gerald McCoy, a lot of the Dallas beat writers were frustrated because it was Ian Rappaport that reported it, and they were not allowed to disclose anything until practice was over. So a lot of those guys were frustrated that Ian Rappaport was able to leak that. So it does seem that the new staff, how it was more open with Garrett. We saw a lot of things. We saw a lot of lineups and matchups and things of that nature. It looks like Mike McCarthy is closing a lot of that down and keeping a lot of information hold on the low, so you cannot know exactly what's going on and what kind of things they're doing. What's your kind of take on that with the media?
I think it's a couple of things. Number one, it's psychological too. Mike McCarthy, he's sort of showing that, hey, I run this team. That was a ploy to show like I'm in charge of that, like not just in charge of the team by just showing that they can't, go out and say whatever they want to say, but also just eliminating the cameras. Like it's creating a mental aspect of anonymity and a change of pace in our own minds and in the minds of our opponents, because we were so vanilla before. Teams would come up and say they knew exactly what we were running. You won't now. You won't know what we're doing, and it starts with the way we're even approaching practice. So the way you approach a thing is the way you think all the way through. And right now, there's a lot of subterfuge. He's not really telling everybody what we're doing. So it just shows. That's showing early. Like he's a man. He's taking charge of this team. He's a real leader when it comes to that. And at the end of the day, teams aren't going to know what we're doing. It keeps them off balance. So I don't have a problem with it. I like the fact that he's telling players what they can and can't say and when they can and can't say it when it comes to media, because we don't have a problem when Bill Belichick does it. Bill Belichick, you don't go to New England and start running your mouth. You shut up and you fall in line.
Yeah, you're gonna shut up quick or you're gonna be gone.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah, definitely the way it should be. Well, hey man, we're gonna close this up because Boo Thing, she cooked me some food like 2 hours ago, dog.
Yeah, I told my pop, I said I'll be back in an hour, Dad. He's like, yeah, all right. He's getting knocked out or something.
She tried to bring it in here. I was like, man, I can't be eating like that because I'm people like, really, you chewing and eating and really having a show like you being real. I'll do it, but I don't care. But I was like, I don't want to be rude and disrespectful. But she like, hey, come on, man, it's time to eat and I gotta go to bed. So I was like, okay, once Boo Thing says that, man, show gotta be over.
Oh man, hey, happy wife, happy life.
Hey, you know what it is. That's what it is. But hey, man,
that's why I ain't got one. I do what I want.
I'm pleading the fifth on that right there.
Yeah. You better.
I sure will. I will not say anything. But hey, man, let everybody know. I mean, if you don't know who this man Akoye Media is, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be disrespectful to you, but you've been in the dark and you've been in the caveman years if you don't know this man and his stuff that he brings. So Akoye, for anybody who don't know and they should know, let them know what you do. Let them all know about you, where they can find you, all that good stuff.
Yep. Akoye. That's accumulated knowledge over years of experience.
Love the
You can
name.
find me on YouTube under that same name. That's where you should look if you want highlights or breakdowns or, just my random thoughts. Sometimes I go into it. Or you can go on IG or Twitter if you just want to hear me rant or just see my life. Like I don't really hide nothing, man. I put everything out there. So I appreciate the ride, though, man. I love doing what I do, and it all come from a real place. That's why I have no problem talking to any of y'all because I don't look at anything like this isn't Game of Thrones. I'm not looking at it like that. I love this community, and y'all all welcome me in this community, and at the same time, y'all give me y'all give me y'all best shot too. But that's why I like it because you're gonna tell me if you disagree, and you're gonna tell me if you agree. And at the end of the day, we all really agree because we all love football enough to be sitting here at 12 o'clock while I'm in North Carolina visiting my pop, talking about it, in a car. So, I will do that for only one thing, well, two things, boxing and football, man. That's it. I love what I do. I love it. So I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate everybody for coming on. Eastside Harold, what's up, man? Jennifer, I like your passion. Thanks for defending the star the way you do.
Oh,
I
she
saw that. I
defends it
like it.
like no other.
That's bleed blue right there. You can bleed. You can
She
disagree
bleeds
with me.
it.
I don't care about that. As long as you bleed blue when you do it, that's all good. So hey, no problem, man. I love what we doing out here. But one thing I do want to say to the fans when it comes to the sport, because we had a little hiccup over the last week with I won't even name their name, but with the organization that is well known in the cowboy community. They came in my man Law, man.
Yeah.
And one thing we got to say and we got to really understand is I don't see Giants fans. I don't see Eagles fans. I live in Philly, right? I take hell just to be a Cowboy fan in Philly. I done bled for the Cowboys without wanting to, because that's how people are in Philly. They will spit on you. They will throw a bottle at you. They will punch you in the face over the fact that they're bitter because they're losing. That's the way they are here. But you know what they don't do? They don't fight each other, man. New York Giants fans, Washington fans, they are together. But the Cowboys fans, we do more fighting amongst each other than I think we fight other people. If we change that mentality, maybe we'll change the same on the field, because our mentality when it comes to our fan base, you could disagree all you want, but that doesn't mean I hate you. I disagree with you. I've disagreed with you. I disagree with G back in the day. I disagree with Law. I've disagreed with Vach. I've disagreed with Mark Holmes. But I got love for every last one of y'all. And it's not like I live to disagree. It's just when we don't agree, we don't agree. When we do, we do. And that's the way the world really is. Because anybody who's always agreeing with you is fake as fuck anyway, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, we need to understand that as fans, like, open up and start to embrace our own fan base, because we got a hell of a fan base to be having shows, like multiple shows like this within the fan base, all having their own niche. And pay attention, because we're creating movements within other fan bases, because you see Cleveland Browns fans doing it, Seattle fans doing it now. Other fan bases are popping up with these same types of programs, and that's sprouting from your Dallas Cowboys programs. So respect what we do. That's it. Respect each other. That's it. But that's all I gotta say, man. I ain't gonna keep y'all too much longer, man. I got love for all this, man. Let's keep doing it though.
Hey, well, I'm gonna just bounce off this before we close. I'm not gonna mention them either because they ain't worthy of me mentioning any
I ain't gonna
longer.
mention him.
But that disrespectful thing that they did, the Law, the thing I really love and appreciate is how our community loked up and basically said that's not going down here. You're not going to discredit. You're not going to discredit our man
Not
who
that
puts
one.
in. You're gonna put in
I
real
started
work.
this shit because of Law,
You
man.
feel
Like
me?
nobody,
Law
man,
was the
you're not
main
doing that.
person.
Nah,
Law was
we
the
ain't
main
doing that.
person. Okoye, when I first came out of media school and I first started doing this, Law was the main person. I shared all my videos from Law. I shared everything. Law was the first interview I actually brought on my show because I respected him so much. So that dude.
And if you got something to say as a man, bro, the way
You
you do that,
you go in the
you
inbox,
can
you
go,
talk to him like a man.
Right. You go and you say what you got to say to the man. You don't do that. Like, so the fact that they went at him, like that, like, man, you deserve to be. I'm not even talking football. Like, you deserve to get the shit slapped out you for that. That was corny.
I mean,
That was
you know
corny.
what? We talked about that. Like, you really do need to get slapped upside your head for that.
We
And
feed a lot
and
of us feed our families off that. Like, so if I don't, but a
and you
lot of
discrediting the
YouTubers
name,
make money.
right,
Yeah,
right. And here's the thing about it, Okoye. The reason why you did it because you hate and because you see the movement. You
right.
watching the movement. You're seeing the movement happen right in front of your eyes, and you're getting frustrated because nobody's listening to that mainstream shit no more. They want to come
Yep.
to the real. They want to deal with the real. And guess what? The people and the fans want to have a voice too. And when you're
And
dealing
we
with
already
us,
here.
we here and we open the door for that. And people are
It
like, you
ain't
know what?
going
I don't need to
nowhere.
listen to that no more. And guess what? We're getting the Cowboys players. We're getting the media play. We're getting all that too. So,
Yeah.
hey, you can hate all you want, but you ain't gonna stop this movement. But one thing you're not gonna do is run your mouth to our people, because if we ever catch you in them streets, dog, you know what it is.
Twitter fingers turn to
You
trigger
feel
fingers,
me?
bro.
You feel me? Because I was
Yo,
talking
stop
about Boo thing the other day. I was like, I ain't got no corporate backing me. I don't got
Me
no,
neither.
so I can come
I
up there and
say
bust you in
whatever.
your head. I just
That's
gotta
what I
worry
said
about
to
the
Law.
police.
I said, Law, don't you say shit. I said, don't say nothing. I got
We
you.
got you.
Don't say
Don't say that, Law.
shit
We
out your
got
mouth,
you.
bro. I got you.
That's what
Please
I was
sit
sending them the
down. I
text
got
messages like, Law, what you want me to do?
gladly.
What you want me to do? I'm ready to ride. You can see
Right.
her I was like, I'm ready to ride.
Right.
He's like, no, all right, chill. Because you see what Law said. Law
Exactly.
said, hey, you better
Don't
watch
say
your mouth,
shit.
because I'll get at you.
Don't say shit, Law. I got you, Brody. It's all good.
You know how
But
it
yeah,
is.
man. I got good night, y'all, man. I appreciate it. Yo, whenever, like, I'm not. I'm took. I tell y'all the truth. I took this year kind of like just by ear because of all the things that we all know been happening this year. And my bro died this year, so I've been like just
Sorry.
seeing a lot of family and traveling and doing things that I never gave myself a chance to do this year because of all the things that were happening. But and content wise, I had a lot of content that has no voices on it because I just didn't. I wasn't myself. I couldn't really get myself right, and that's being honest, man. But now I'm back to myself. I feel, I'm out my feelings and all that. But whenever you want me on, man, hit me. You ain't gotta be no big news, no injuries, no nothing. Just hit me. I'll jump on with you in 5 minutes flat. You say, yo, you got time? I'm on. It's whatever.
That's my
I love
dog.
talking this football, man. Let's go.
That's my dog. I appreciate you, big dog, and I love you for life, man. I really appreciate everything
Likewise,
you've
Brody.
done, the
Likewise.
work you've done. I just love how we just got this. It's not a competition with us. It's a competition like a healthy, like normal stuff. But this
I'm
ain't.
like, I'm going to turn
Yeah,
up
you
on you,
feel me?
of
We're
course.
gonna turn up when we go against each other, but it's
When
love.
I look to my left and I look to my right, I better see all y'all still standing there. That's how I
Yep,
look at
but
it.
it's love,
That's how I gotta
and
go.
that's the way it is, and that's the way it's always going to stay up in here. And
Yep.
so shout outs to everybody in the feed, man. It's past 12 o'clock, and we still had a good crowd, man. So I appreciate everybody in the feed. Shout out to all my members. Shout out to all the moderators. Shout out to all the people that donated. I didn't get to everybody's name.
Get that chicken.
Just really appreciate y'all and love y'all for life. And make sure you check out tomorrow. The late night hype is going down. Me, Law, and Skywalker will have more to talk about, all that good stuff. So make sure you tune in, man. And
Love that
appreciate
show.
y'all. And we will talk to you soon. I am out, Big Game James, Akoye, and me, the Silver and Blue Nation. We'll talk.